Good afternoon, guys. It's Working, bringing you a quick update on Bitcoin, and we're going to try to look at a couple other coins here real quick, guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. Before I get started, guys, I noticed I've got a bunch of new subscribers, and I've got opticalart.com to thank for that. He's put out some great videos, very interesting videos, man. I have to say, I don't know how old the guy is. I really don't, but he's I call him a kid. I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I actually mean that in a very very positive way. I mean, he seems like a very intelligent young man. And even though he's, I don't always agree with everything that he says, he certainly makes me look at things in a different perspective. I'm kind of an old dog, guys. I mean, I found something that works for me. It's a way of trading that works for me. But I always find it interesting to see some guys, playing around with things, trying to quote unquote crack the code when it comes to trading. And I gotta tip my hat to opticalart.com. Thank him for the recommendation of my channel and a lot of new subscribers that he brought over, and also tip my hat at his a lot of his analysis. Like I said, even though at times sometimes I don't agree with his analysis, he's always got sound logic, and I just like the way his brain works. So anyway, guys, quick shout out to him. I'll even put a link to his YouTube channel on the bottom for those of you that aren't familiar with him. All right, looking at Bitcoin to the US dollar one-day chart on Coinbase, guys. I'm going to try to go through all these coins quickly. Bitcoin yesterday, as I said, guys, we're operating on this ascending broadening wedge. We are testing again the top of it. I told you guys yesterday as we were trading down here at approximately 56.60, I told you guys to expect another kick up. I said that shorts were stacking, things were looking bullish, volume was holding. We were seeing that 5600, what was resistance, was starting to act as support. We did have a nice bounce off that, guys. I told you guys to expect a test of 6,000. We bounced up here, haven't quite tested 6,000 yet. We're still respecting this ascending resistance line here of the upper portion of the ascending broadening wedge. Even though we have broken above it by a wick here, we haven't decisively broken above it yet, so I still consider that respecting that resistance line. But again, we did break up here, and we did almost test 6,000, reaching a high of approximately let's see, what was the high here? 5974, so very close, about $26 shy of that $6,000 mark that we discussed yesterday. And I do still think, we're looking at shorts here, guys. Come over here checking shorts. I mean, it's just insane. Shorts still continuing to, for the most part, continuing to stack here, guys, holding strong. A little bit of a pullback here in the last 4 hours, but for the most part, shorts are holding strong. Whether or not this is insider trading, whether or not somebody knows something that we don't know. As I said yesterday, guys, typically this would call for a break up to try to liquidate these shorts. We have broken up again almost to the 6,000 mark, guys, and I think we're running into a couple different things. Either this is insider trading and a lot of these people know something that we don't know, or this, of course, was the area that we were expecting here between 6,000 and about 6,200, guys. I'm expecting a ton of shorts to come in here. Just because we can see, obviously, guys, this is our area of prior resistance that we're getting into now. So while I would expect shorts to stack here, guys, pardon me, I would expect shorts to stack here, guys. I didn't expect shorts to already be stacked once we came up here. I would expect them to go. So it's very interesting to see where this is going to go, guys. We're likely going to have to push price north of 6,000 to liquidate these shorts. These shorts are very strong hands, clearly, and they're holding a lot of deep pockets. Remember, guys, when you trade shorts, a lot of people are trading on leverage, which means you can get liquidated very quickly. Forcibly liquidated very quickly, and I'm very impressed by the strong hands and the deep pockets that are holding a lot of these short positions, in my opinion. So again, I'm still calling for, as I said yesterday, I still think we may get another kick up here, possibly wick right above here our 6,000 to 6,200, and then I'm still expecting that larger breakdown to at least this $5,000 range, between 5,000 to 4,900, and of course, if that breaks down, guys, we're looking at 4,500 and and without question, 4120 to 4,000, that is definitely on the table. As I pointed out yesterday, guys, and we've now set a higher high for 2019. So if I redraw this fib, we swing low, swing high here, we can see that that's still sitting very close to our resistance. The 618 is still sitting very close to what was resistance that should act as support right around that 420 range, even though we've raised it up just a bit here, guys, but still falling within that zone. So I still can see a logical scenario where we come up and we have that larger breakdown, guys. Again, at least 5,000, but I think there's a good chance we're going to come back down and test 4,100 to 4,000 here. Again, not right away, but I would say in the next, depending on how long it takes to come up here and test this zone, I would say in the next couple weeks. Looking at our indicators, again, we're on the daily chart. We can see clearly price has created a series of higher highs here. If we come down here, look at the MACD clearly created lower high. So obviously that we're looking at some bearish divergence there, guys. Also calling for a breakdown. Does that mean that has to happen? Absolutely not. Again, I think we're seeing a lot of manipulation in the market. I think we're seeing shorts doing something extremely unusual. Yeah, while that is calling for a larger breakdown, I still think that that there's a good chance that market makers are going to try to kick price up here to try to again take another shot at liquidating those short positions. And we'll have to see if that ends up working out. But there's no question, guys, this is getting extremely interesting, and we're getting to a point in the road to where price just cannot get up much higher without getting into our major area of resistance right here. And of course, that's if we can break above that, guys, I think market makers are running the risk of incentivizing a ton of people that are sitting on the sidelines, a ton of retail that got wrecked in 2018. You drive price up above this area of major resistance, guys, you're going to get a lot of people FOMOing in. You get a lot more FOMO, you get a lot more volume, you get a lot more volume. It's a lot more difficult to manipulate the market. So that's a gamble that they're really taking if they do try to drive price up here. So if you're not a day and or swing trader, guys, I would, or I should say a day and or scalp trader, I would just kind of sit on the sidelines here, in my opinion. Not financial advice. Do whatever you want to do, but I think the safer play is to sit on the sidelines and wait to see how this plays out. We are huddled right up against major resistance here, guys, and typically that's not a good time to buy. Might this thing break up? Absolutely. If you're dollar cost averaging in for the long haul and planning to hold, for the next couple of years, absolutely go for it, guys. It's whether you buy here, whether you buy, down here at $4,000, in a couple of years, 3 years from now, it's not going to make a whole lot of difference. But again, if you're a scalp and or day trader, guys, it's a very risky buy in my opinion, right where it is right at this point. All right, looking at shorts, as I said, guys, shorts are just, they're just stacking. They're just inhuman at this point. Looking at longs, guys, longs just basically moving sideways, basically stagnant. Let's come over here and look at our moving averages, exponential moving averages, bring out to the daily chart. Still trading above the 8-day EMA, well above our 21-day EMA here, guys. Again, nothing but strength here, guys. Testing the top of the Bollinger Bands here, top Bollinger Bands here, starting to stretch out here. So again, nothing but strength here, guys. We did have that strong bounce off that 8-day EMA. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. More significantly, in my opinion, coming out here to the weekly chart. Weekly chart here, again, stretching out the top of our Bollinger Bands here, but more significantly, we've broken above this 50-week moving average, guys. Again, that's a very bullish sign of strength. If we can have this weekly candle close above, now we're very early in the week here, guys, so this is a big if, but if we can get the weekly candle closing above the 50-week moving average here, guys, again, I do think that's going to be a very good sign of strength, a very solid sign of strength. And if we can come back down and test it, and we get that 50-week moving average starting to act as support, again, a very bullish sign. So let's wait and see kind of how this plays out. But as of right now, guys, there's no question we're seeing a lot of strength in the market. At least strength in the short term, guys. Remember, in the medium term here, guys, even though I think we see a kick up, as I said, guys, I'm still looking for a larger breakdown here. In fact, if you come over here and look at the our NVT, or network to value transaction ratio, guys, this is every time we've been in red here, guys, we've had a larger breakdown. Last time we had that, in fact, let me try to bring this up here so you can get a little better idea and compare this with price. Every single time the NVT has been in red here. For those of you that are unfamiliar, that's basically just the ratio between the overall market cap of the coin and the actual transactions going through the blockchain on a daily basis. That's basically what that is. And anytime it's come up in here in red, guys, we've had the major breakdown. We had it here in December 2017 when we broke down from our $20,000 high. Of course, we had it here in July of 18. We broke down from our 8,500 all the way down to about 6,000, and then we had it just screaming red here, almost flatlining red here, until we had that major breakdown from 6,000 all the way down to $3,150, 3,150. So there's no question this, we are now getting that red again. So does that mean it has to break down? No, we are getting some more bullish momentum. If this thing has reversed course, we're now in a bull market, and that's a big if. If that's happened, yeah, could this, could just take this with a grain of salt, guys. It's showing red in the past. Historically, that has been a sign of a larger breakdown to come. Of course, I've talked to you about other signs in the past. The golden cross has always been followed by a larger breakdown, etc., not to mention we're due for it. So, take all that with a grain of salt. Does it mean it has to happen? Absolutely not. Does it mean probability tells us it will happen? Yes, absolutely. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap Bitcoin there. Let's quickly jump into EOS. Sorry, guys. Get rid of that. There we go. EOS is creating a series of lower highs, higher lows. You know, is this a wedge? Well, technically, that's the definition of a wedge, but you know, it's kind of a sloppy one, if that. But we do have an ascending support line here that it seems to be respecting very well. We do have a descending resistance line right here that it seems to be respecting again fairly well. You know, take liberty of a couple wicks up above here, but it does seem like we're approaching a bit of an apex here. And if that is the case, guys, we should get a larger move to come. Of course, everybody's talking about EOS with that block 1 announcement coming on June 1. So yeah, that typically, you know, typically we would look for a larger move to come. Everybody is looking for that, however, and we do have a massive area of resistance and massive supply zone here between 5.90, 6.10 on EOS that we had a strong rejection on here. Of course, there's no question this is a supply zone. As I've explained in prior videos, it broke down here back in September of 18, and then it was just unable to decisively break up, just wicking up above here every time, suggesting a ton of sell orders still sitting up in here. And then, of course, fast forward 5 months, we had the same thing here on April 9th of this year, where we had that strong rejection just wicking up in here, and then that strong rejection right around that $6 range. So it's going to take a lot to get us through $6. If that being said, if we do get a breakup here, watch for the watch for the bull trap right around $6. Watch for a breakup and a hard reversal. However, if we can break up above $6, start consolidating on top of this zone, guys, that's going to be an extremely bullish sign. At that point, I'll start to believe that EOS is starting to head up, and of course, that'll be a very strong buy in my opinion. If it does end up breaking down here, we also could watch out for that for a bear trap breaking down here between 450, 427, strong reversal, and then heading back up. I also want to point out Bitfinex is trading at a bit of a premium right now, so you know, you'll need to adjust these numbers depending on which exchange you happen to be looking at. But yeah, Bitfinex I believe is trading at about a 25-30% premium on EOS. So if 427 does break down though, guys. Sorry about that. 427 does break down, guys. I think the next major support sits down here at 350. I think 350 would be a must buy. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, 350 is a must buy in my opinion. All right, quickly looking at BAT, basic attention token, guys. Again, this is on the daily. I'm looking at Tether and Binance here. I was looking last time at the calculated trading view, calculated dollar on BAT. I'm not going to use that anymore. There's too much of a discrepancy between the two. This is, I believe, is more accurate, even though I don't have quite the history here. But it still basically tells us what we need to know. Last time we talked, guys, BAT was trading right up in here. It was almost creating a little bit of a wedge, not quite so much here. We had this descending resistance line, a little bit of an ascending support line. Of course, it did end up breaking down. I told you guys to watch this zone here between 36, 37 cents. I told you if that did break down, the next major support was going to be down here at around 32 cents, guys. And of course, that is, I believe, what we're heading to. I think 32 cents is going to be a strong support here, guys. We can see it was resistance back here quite a few times before finally breaking above what was resistance, often acts as support. So I do think we're if and when we do come back down here and test 32 cents with BAT, I think that's going to be a relatively good buy. That being said, if that does break down, guys, the next major area of support we have is right down here. Got a bit of a supply zone right down here between about 25 and 26 cents, and I think this would be a must buy if we do end up coming down to this zone, guys. I think this would be BAT as a must buy between 26 and 25 cents, in my opinion. We can see that's a very strong demand zone down here. Price broke up, wick, came back up, tested it again, strong break up, tested it again, wick, and then of course it just took off took off to almost 50 cents there. So there's no question there's a demand zone down here. Should be a lot of buy orders down here. So if we do break 32 cents, I think 32 cents is a very quick play. I would just have a tight stop on that, because knowing if 32 cents does break down, again, we're very likely to come down here to this 26 to 25 cents, where that is a major buy. To the upside, we've got a supply zone, area of strong resistance right here between about 41 and 43.5 cents. Again, this is going to be a hard area to break through. If we do end up breaking through that, though, guys, again, sky could be the limit. We could be coming up to take out this prior high at approximately 50 cents. But I'd be very leery buying in this area, guys. If we do break above 37 and we start consolidating above 37 again, then you may want to take that quick swing trade targeting approximately 41 cents. Sorry, guys. But wait for that breakup above 37 cents. For now, guys, I'd be looking for a quick scalp at 32 cents, possibly targeting 37 cents up here, or a quick day, whatever you want to call it, or breaking down below 32 cents, guys. Again, I think it's a must buy down here for the 1,000th time. I'll stop repeating myself, between 25 and 27 cents. Or excuse me, 25 and 26 cents. All right, I'm going to wrap bat there. Looking at Binance Coin. Binance Coin is testing a area of support here between approximately 21.6 and 21.1 cents. Looking here, guys, testing right on top of that zone here. If that does end up breaking down, of course, our next major support is down here at about 19.7 cents, as I told you on the last update. I think BNB is a very good buy at 19.7 cents, guys, and I'll start averaging in between 19.7 all the way down to and including 17.2 down here. I think it's a must buy down here at 17.2. I can see it possibly wicking below here to about 16.1, but I'll start to go in heavy here at 17.2, and if it wicks down here at 16.1, I'll have a few orders down there as well. But again, I'm going to start to go in very light, but again, start the dollar cost averaging in right here at about 19.7 here, guys. In the meantime, if you do think it's going to bounce off this zone, which is a real possibility, I do still hold Binance Coin. I certainly haven't sold. This is definitely one of my long-term holds and will be for quite some time. But if you're looking to enter into a position, I can certainly make a case for that right now, guys. The problem is we just broke below the 21-day EMA here, guys. That's usually a very bearish sign of things to come. Now we have yet to see a daily candle both open and close below the 21-day EMA. Now, if we do have this daily candle here close below the 21-day EMA, again, that'll be the first candle that has closed below it, and then we need another daily candle to both open and close below it. That'll confirm that decisive break below the 21-day EMA. If that does happen, that'd be a very bearish sign short term, and that, again, could signal that we are coming down here to that 19.7, possibly down here to that 17.2, 17.1 area. Up above here, guys, we do have strong resistance at about 23.5. If you wanted to play a quick scalp trade, again, it's a little bit risky, but if you wanted to play a scalp trade here, targeting approximately 23.4, actually, I would just target 23, guys. I think a lot of people are going to be watching the top of that zone here, so I would just target 23. Actually, make it never go in on a solid round number like 23. I'd make it 22.95 or something like that to get out of. So yeah, if you're looking for it's a risky trade, but you certainly can make the case that we're at a decent area of support here, and you could target the area of resistance right here just below that, again at about 22.95. That would make a lot of sense in my opinion, but we are stuck between an area of resistance and support, and if that support does break, and again we're flirting with that 21 to break and that 21-day EMA decisively, again if that 21-day EMA breaks, that support does break. As I said, guys, I think we're coming down here to 19.7 in my opinion. To the upside, guys, if we can start consolidating above 23.42 as I've got marked out here, I think that'd be a bullish sign. I think more than likely if that happens, we're going to be coming out here and testing this high here of 25.2. Pardon me. Of course, we run the risk of a double top. If that does happen, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I'd get in and I'd get out if you're a trader. But again, guys, I'm talking to day and or swing traders. If you're a long-term holder, I think BNB is an excellent coin to dollar cost average into and just hold for the long haul. If you're not a trader, if you're not comfortable trading, but you are looking for an investment, I do think BNB is a very good coin to invest into. And as I said, just kind of put away and forget about. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap BNB there. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum is still operating within what looks like a rising wedge here. Now, this could be whether or not this is a rising wedge or possibly a leading diagonal, which basically the end result would be the same. We'd be coming up here towards the apex of this rising wedge formation here, and then we'd have a larger breakdown. I do think that eventually that's going to happen, guys. Now, whether or not we come up here and test 85, last time we spoke, I think Ethereum was down here at approximately 155-ish, somewhere along this ascending support line here. I told you that wouldn't be a bad idea to buy there, targeting approximately 185 up here, maybe getting out a little bit early. If you did that, we did make it up to about 180, not quite 185. Doesn't mean we won't, but as of right now, we've had a pretty strong rejection there. And if I zoom in here a little bit closer, we can see, pardon me, we can see that there is an area of resistance right there, guys, where prices tried to come up and break above, wick, broke down, wick, broke down. So no question, there's an area of strong resistance between about 180 and 176. So yeah. It's a risky play. We're certainly sitting right in between, again, resistance and support at this point, guys. I don't see a good play with Ethereum right now, again, unless you're dollar cost averaging in for the long haul, and if you believe in the project. But other than that, guys, I do think Ethereum, very likely, is this going to be the time where we break down, or are we going to do something like this, come back down, possibly hit off this zone again, back up against to test 185. If this is, in fact, leading diagonal. Oftentimes at the end here, you'll get a little kick up and then a larger breakdown, something like that. Now, again, doesn't mean this has to happen, guys. Just means, in my opinion, if I zoom out here, is there any question that this looks like a a rising wedge here or a leading diagonal? I mean, yeah, I guess you can make the case this didn't touch the top here. It's semantics. Whether or not there's, personally, I think it is, and I think this is going to end up breaking down here to at least testing this area again, especially if we end up breaking down up here. I think we're at least coming down to at least 150 down here eventually. And of course, if that 150 breaks, guys, we've got 127 to 125 as an area of decent support down here. And of course, if that breaks, we've got approximately 100, which is our decent psychological as well as technical support down here. I don't see a good play with Ethereum. I think there's a lot better coins out there you could invest in right now. All right, and finally, let's wrap up here with Ripple, guys. As we discussed, Ripple was expected to break out here, guys, and have a very strong breakout. Didn't happen here as we were approaching the apex of a very, very long wedge here. You can call it a couple different things here, but let's just call it a wedge here. We're reaching the apex of that, guys. Expected a long breakout. Of course, we got rejected right here of a very small supply zone. Well, relatively speaking, on a big scale, it was small. If we kind of zoom in here, though, on the daily, not quite so small. No question, we have a very strong supply zone up here, very strong resistance between 38 and 40 cents. It's going to be very difficult to break through that. Right now, we're still dancing on top of an overall ascending support line that was broken down here, guys, which was a very bearish sign, but the bulls were able to push it right back up. We did not have a daily candle both open and closed below that, so technically in my book that's not a decisive break below. Still, it was concerning that we did break that very, very long trend line here that had yet to have been broken since early 2017, but it did test and bounce off of 28 cents, which was of course a known area of support down here, guys, and of course it bounced fairly strongly off that. So bouncing from approximately 28.7 all the way up to 33.2. So a fairly strong bounce off that. We are still trading above that area of support. Ripple is not looking very strong. If we kind of zoom in here, guys, you can see it's kind of getting caught up in resistance right out of that 21-day EMA. And of course, we need to break above that to show any sign of strength. I don't think Ripple is a very good buy here at all. If it comes back down here at to test this ascending support line again, I wouldn't buy it here. If we're coming back down here, possibly double bottoming here at this 28-cent range, then I can see possibly a quick scalp trade, but I'd play a very small position, knowing that if that does end up breaking down, guys, the next area of major support is down here at 25 cents. Pardon me. To the upside, as I said, guys, Ripple, if this thing is going to have any legs at all, we've got to clear this 38 to 40 cent range. Very, very strong resistance. If we start consolidating on top of that, the next area of major resistance is going to be up here between 47 and 50 cents. I think we're a long way off on that. I think the only way Ripple has any major moves here is if we get some kind of game-changing news, which is absolutely possible. There's a lot of money behind Ripple, a lot of good names behind Ripple, and I say good relatively, guys. I mean, there's a lot of well-known names. Let's just leave it at that behind Ripple. So, personally, it's not my favorite project, but I have no problem profiting off it if I do see a good profit opportunity. I'm just not seeing that right now. I think, again, as with ETH, I think there's a lot better opportunity than Ripple, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap things there, guys. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, please let me know in the comment section below. As always, would appreciate an upvote if you have enjoyed this content. Till next time, guys, please trade safe. Take care of yourselves. This is Working.